Right now at 5, a major fallout in Chautauqua, Kansas after multiple police officers resigned from force.
And we've got a foggy start to the day for some of us, but it is going to be a beautiful afternoon. A look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, Catholic faithful in the 4 states weigh in on the election of the first American pontiff.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's finally Friday here in the 4 states. It's May the 9th. And of course, we had the election of the new Pope yesterday. That information came in just before, around 11 o'clock our time.
Around 11 o'clock, yes.
So, yes, it's certainly exciting. And, no matter what, just kind of watching that whole process, the ceremony and everything that followed, it's incredible.
History.
It is indeed. And, of course, an American Pope from Chicago originally. So
very interesting.
Very cool. Of course, we'll have more on that in the news side of things. On the weather side of things, you ever wake up and you get stuff done, you're like halfway done, then you realize you forgot something?
Yeah.
I forgot something. Okay. So we'll find out about that in a minute. But first, let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. We do have some patchy fog. Not seeing much here from the Pittsburgh camera or even the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. However, the fog tracker is showing Joplin. Now remember, with the reporting stations, in a lot of cases, it's at your airport or a specific area. And then with Joplin, it's reporting less than a mile of visibility. You can see dense fog across parts of Jasper County, up into Vernon and Bourbon counties as well. This is impacting I-44, 69, I-49. So just be aware. We don't actually have any dense fog advisories across the area, but we do have patchy dense fog. And that's the other thing is, again, it's one of those situations just even on the drive-in from Joplin to here. I ran into areas where it was clear and then ran into areas where suddenly you couldn't see anything. So low beams, not your high beams. Slow down. Leave plenty of distance between you and the car ahead of you. And, of course, give yourself time to get where you're going this morning. On to the future track we go. We are looking at pretty good conditions heading into the afternoon. We'll have a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the day today. Temperatures warming up nicely. And we'll have that northeast wind, though, occasionally gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour. Temperatures right now, still not bad. 52 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. And across the area, temperatures are holding on into the roughly low to mid 50s for most of us across the area. Now, the thing I forgot is the forecast graphic that comes after this. As soon as I walked over there, I realized I didn't punch in the new numbers, but we are looking at highs today, nicer than where we have been, going into the low to mid 70s. We'll have that northeast wind occasionally gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour here and there. And otherwise, again, a just beautiful day. Now, this beautiful weather, is it going to stick around very long? Well, if you stick around, we'll tell you how long it's going to last and about next week's storm chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon. Well, Joplin first responders were called yesterday afternoon to a head-on collision. The call came in around 1 p.m. near 25th and Davis Boulevard. 3 vehicles were involved, with one of the vehicles overturned. The Joplin fire spent about 10 minutes cutting the top of the overturned vehicle off to pull out the driver safely. 2 of the 3 drivers were transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. The condition of the 3rd driver is unknown at this time. David Boulevard was closed till crews could clear the road, which took about an hour and 15 minutes. Well, a southeast Kansas community loses 3 out of 4 of its police officers and leans to the county for coverage. The Chautauqua City Council held a special council yesterday to decide on temporary law enforcement coverage from the Labette County Sheriff's Department. Yesterday afternoon's meeting follows Tuesday night's heated Chautauqua City Council meeting. At that meeting, 3 out of 4 officers of the police department resigned, including the police chief. And those resigning cited a hostile work environment and that they, quote, cannot in good conscience continue to work here. During that meeting, it was agreed that the Labette County Sheriff's Office would provide day and night coverage free of charge for the first 2 months.
So the agreement is that we would help them for 2 months until they got their office in order. And if it had to go beyond that, we could talk contracts. By that time, they should have enough officers that they won't need us to help. And that's what I hope anyway. But we're still going to help them whether they're full house or not.
You feel we'll have 24?
The council agreed to let the resigning officers keep their custom body armor. One of the officers also had a running contract with the city. That contract is now considered null and void. Well, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, First Staters are taking part in the celebrations for the new Pope. St. Peter's, the Apostle Catholic Church in Joplin, rescheduled its Mass yesterday so parishioners could come together and pray for the new Pope. Community members gathered together in the chapel at Mercy Hospital for the historic occasion, not only celebrating a new voice in the Vatican, but the fact he is American-born. Catholics in the 4 states say it's a monumental moment, not only for Catholicism, but for the United States. It's something Catholics of all ages experience together.
It's incredible to think that he is one of us, that he's like us. Chicago's not that far, and somebody who knows what it's like to be an American, and I think it's just an exciting moment.
Father Brian says he anticipates a full and exciting Mass this coming Sunday where more parishioners are able to come together. And now to look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. As we mentioned, the first ever American has been named the new Pope. We'll have more details. And we have a mild and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping World Watch, it's been a whirlwind few hours since Chicago-born Cardinal Robert Prevost was announced as the new Pope, Leo XIV. Soon he'll lead his first Mass with cardinals as the new leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. Reaction is pouring in over the surprise pick from his family members in the U.S. to Peru, where the new pontiff spent many decades. Tina Kraus has more from the Vatican.
Excitement is overflowing this morning in St. Peter's Square with Pope Leo XIV set to lead his first Mass.
I have never seen anything like this for any papal event.
The white smoke billowing from the Sistine Chapel chimney on day 2 of the conclave Thursday revealed the historic election. Soon after, Cardinal Robert Prevost appeared on the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square as the first American-born Pope.
Pace sia con tutti voi.
His first words to the cheering crowds of faithful in Italian, "Peace be with all you."
Oh my God, it's Rob.
The election of the 69-year-old Chicago native surprised even his own siblings.
You know how some kids like to play war and be soldiers? He wanted to play priest.
And we just teased, you're going to be the Pope.
Pope Leo XIV is the first pontiff from the Augustinian order, and the heart of that group came through in his first blessing as he urged people to build bridges, embrace dialogue, and show compassion through charity. The new Bishop of Rome spent much of his life in Peru, even gaining citizenship. Friar Ramiro Castillo describes him as a simple, quiet person. In the U.S., the reaction to the first American pontiff has been anything but quiet. From the White House.
That's a great honor.
To Prevost's alma mater, Villanova University.
I heard the bells, and it was just a really surreal experience.
In Chicago, a friendly battle between the two hometown baseball clubs, both claiming the new pope as a fan. Tina Kraus, CBS News, the Vatican.
Well, Pope Leo XIV's brother says he's a White Sox fan, by the way. And the Vatican says the new pope will lead Sunday prayers from St. Peter's Basilica. Then on Monday, he's expected to hold an audience with the press. Well, still to come, a new study finds that more people under 50 are being diagnosed with cancer. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Friday forecast. Well, a quirky new study starring a sea lion with impeccable rhythm shows the viral star outperforming humans at headbanging. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A rhythmically trained sea lion made famous for keeping the beat is back for an encore, and researchers say she's now outperforming humans. Keeping tempo with a musical beat can be tricky for some, whether it's just nodding along or plotting a song.
Not quite my tempo.
But not for Ronan the sea lion. It seems she's a natural. Ronan went viral in 2013 when researchers at UC Santa Cruz shared video of the sea lion accurately keeping time with varying musical beats, calling her the only non-human mammal to demonstrate highly precise beat keeping. Now, a new study published in the journal Scientific Reports pitted Ronan against human subjects in a series of timekeeping tests using a drum beat, and data showed the sea lion consistently outperformed her human counterparts, keeping her precision to within a razor-thin 15 milliseconds of the target downbeat. The fascinating study suggests the ability to keep time is not a uniquely human feat. It also showed not only has she got the beat, she's got us beat. In what may not be music to the ears of traveling Tolkien nerds, a pair of Hobbit-inspired sculptures will no longer be flying the friendly skies. Originally part of a 2013 promotion for the Hobbit movie trilogy, these colossal creations have soared over travelers in the Wellington, New Zealand airport for more than a decade. The massive Middle-earthian models will finally be brought down and retired. Don't worry, the giant creepy Gollum is staying put. But for those of you used to seeing Gandalf flying over you in the airport, just know that you shall not pass under him any longer. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, those sculptures were pretty cool. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a foggy start out there. Now, again, from our cameras that we have access to here, downtown Pittsburgh, we don't see any fog. Haven't seen any as of yet on the MoDOT cameras, but we do have patchy dense fog as we start our day. We've got the weekend ahead of us. We'll talk about that forecast, and we'll talk about next week's storm chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, and it's now 5:19 on this finally Friday in the 4 states, and it is a foggy one for sure. Again, we don't have any dense fog advisories across the area, but you can see we do have patchy fog across a good portion of the region. Joplin Airport reporting less than a mile of visibility, but I was just checking the MoDOT cameras. Now, bear in mind, most of those are on the south half of the city. Not seeing any fog there, but that doesn't mean you can't run into it. Again, my commute in here, I had areas on 171 and even on Old 96 where it would be clear, and then all of a sudden your visibility dropped to nothing. So you've got to slow down. Again, use your low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. Just give yourself time to get where you're going, because this is also the dense fog areas are impacting some of the major highways in our area. We have 54, I-49, I-44, 69. So just again, be aware of the fog. Now it will, of course, eventually go away, and then we'll have a pretty decent day. We're looking initially at mostly clear to clear skies through the first part of the morning, and we'll start to go partly cloudy this afternoon. We'll have some northeast winds occasionally gusting out there. Otherwise, it's looking fantastic. We'll maintain the partly cloudy skies from today all the way through the weekend. Temperatures will be a bit warmer than where we have been here lately. Not significantly warm as like they're going to be next week, which I'll show you in a moment, but it will be a little bit better through the weekend for our temperatures. Again, 7th and range line, our camera there. You can see at this point, no fog in the south half of the city. Bear in mind, of course, Joplin Airport, just the example, because they're reporting the lowest visibility. It's all the way on the north side of the city. So it's going to be foggy up around Stone's Corner, the roundabout, 171. But down through the city, at least right now, it's all right. Mostly clear skies again to start. Upper 50s will be near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning. And again, as we head into the afternoon, we'll start to see a few more clouds, just going partly cloudy. We'll kind of level out right in the low to mid 70s for most of us out there. We'll have those northeast winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies will continue through the evening and overnight, down the low 60s by 10. However, we are going to get pretty darn chilly tonight as we fall back into the upper 40s with a north breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, something we've talked about is the thunderstorm chances as we head into next week. I said, at this point on long-range data, there's nothing screaming severe. There's nothing standing out that we're going to get an awful round of storms, but we are monitoring the potential toward the end of next week, something we do want to keep a close eye on. So here we are Monday. We do have some isolated pop-up storms, scattered storms out there. So remember, with the future track going this far out, it's painting the area where rain could be. It is not saying there's going to be rain across the entire southern half of Missouri. It's just showing that that's where some of these showers and storms could be. After that, we have a couple of days of just about nothing going on. It's going to be pretty decent, but our temperatures are going to start to soar, going into the 80s. Then we start to head into Friday. By Friday evening, late evening, we start to see additional thunderstorm chances building across the area, and these chances will stick with us through Friday and into the weekend as well. And so here we are Saturday late night, more showers, thunderstorms out there. And again, we could see a strong storm or two. It's something we certainly want to keep an eye on because it looks like next weekend we are looking at shower and thunderstorm chances. And again, some stronger storms may be possible, so it's something we'll want to monitor very closely. All right, again today, low to mid 70s. Going into Saturday, mid-70s by Sunday. We got those thunderstorm chances Monday. Take a look at these temperatures as they start to climb. We're looking mid, maybe even some upper 80s here or there. But sunny, it'll be very warm out there. The 80s, despite our rain chances, will hold on as we head into the end of the week and the weekend, still in the low to mid 80s. And those thunderstorm chances, again, building late Thursday through Friday into the weekend. Again, nothing screaming severe at this point, but it is something that we want to keep a very close eye on. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, more Americans under 50 are being diagnosed with certain types of cancer. The American Association for Cancer Research found rates of breast, colorectal, endometrial, pancreatic, and kidney cancers are rising among younger people. And while the reasons for the increase are unknown, experts say it could be because advances in cancer screening allow cancer to be detected earlier than ever before. Well, drugs used to treat HIV may have an added benefit, reducing the risk of Alzheimer's. A study by the University of Virginia found HIV patients who take drugs called NRTIs have a 6 to 13% lower chance of developing Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say these drugs have the potential to prevent around 1 million Alzheimer's cases every year. And veterans who suffer from depression have a 14% higher risk of heart failure. A study by Vanderbilt University also found veterans with depression had higher rates of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, smoking, and alcohol abuse. The findings highlight how mental health is directly linked to physical health. And that's a look at some of this morning's top health stories. Stick around. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, some elite area high school musicians gather at Pitt State for an annual band festival.
And we've got patchy dense fog across the area this morning, and then we'll start to clear out a bit ahead of a beautiful Friday. Look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, it's National Nursing Week. We'll hear from a Missouri Southern professor about this year's graduating class.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:27. I'm Elise Snowe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now finally Friday in the 4 states, May the 9th, and it has been a week. For sure. Not like a bad one by any means. Just a lot going on this week. We had the election of the new Pope yesterday. Just fascinating to see. I know I mentioned it earlier. I won't drone on about it. It's just it was very neat to see. That process and the celebrations that took place. And one thing you can't see this morning is more than about 5 feet in front of you. We've got some patchy dense fog out there in some locations. We're going to start with our Pittsburgh camera downtown 4th and Broadway. Now I'm going to tell you, I just cycled through the MoDOT cameras in the Joplin metro area. They all were clear, but the fog tracker strongly disagrees. But also keep in mind where the fog tracker gets its data is from specific reporting stations. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, it is a bit hazier now than it was before, but the densest fog still seems to be up on the city's north side. But you can see the fog tracker indicating very dense fog. Joplin Airport is reporting 0.2 of a mile of visibility, Carthage down to 0.5 mile, and Miami just a hair over 0.5 mile. And this dense fog stretches I-44 from roughly Mount Vernon all the way back down into Ottawa County, into northeastern Oklahoma, almost to Veneta. So again, if you are traveling, that's going to be the other thing is, maybe it's not showing up on the cameras where they're positioned, but it could be one of those things like I discussed earlier, where as you're driving in, you've got a spot of clear conditions and all of a sudden your visibility drops to nothing. So slow down, look out for that dense fog. And again, the big thing, low beams, not your high beams, because it doesn't help you and it certainly does not help the other drivers on the roadways. Future track into the afternoon looking fantastic. We'll have clear skies through the morning and then we'll start to go partly cloudy into the afternoon and evening hours, and that northeast wind occasionally gusting to 20. But otherwise, compared to the last several days, a very nice day for us. Temperatures, we're sitting at 51 in Joplin, 54 in Pittsburgh. You can kind of see some light fog out there as well. Some of this blur is also just because this camera is a little out of focus at 32nd in range line, but we're getting some light fog on the cameras, just not as dense again as what the fog tracker is indicating. Temperatures this morning, not bad either, low to mid 50s across the area, so a pretty decent start to the day. Winds aren't too bad right now, but again, they will increase. Kids getting on the bus this morning, it's going to be a bit foggy as we just showed you. Otherwise, mid-50s and northeast winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. The northeast winds pick up a bit this afternoon. Partly cloudy skies. Temperatures looking pretty pleasant as well. 74, and that's where we're headed. We're 61 by 9, 71 by noon, into the low to mid-70s for our highs with those partly cloudy skies heading through the afternoon hours. Our weekend, I'll be honest, it looks pretty fantastic at this point, but we do have increasing thunderstorm chances as we head into the next work week. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, we'll see you soon. Thanks. Well, some drivers in Jasper County will need to find a detour starting next week. MoDOT announces its plan to close and replace the Missouri Route 96 bridge over Missouri Route 171 beginning May 12th, which is this coming Monday. Now, the department says drivers should expect the closure to last up to 120 days. The new bridge will be slightly higher and 12 feet longer than the current bridge. In addition, crews also will install new guardrail barrier walls and permanent striping. About 850 vehicles cross the bridge daily. The current bridge was built in 1974 and is deteriorating. Well, this is National Nurses Week, and many schools will bring in new nurses to address the critical and persistent shortage of nurses throughout the country. 26 nursing students will graduate from Missouri Southern State University on Saturday. MSSU says that this group has the highest on the standardized exam scores in a decade.
Most people think about nursing, they think of the bedside nurse in the hospital, but nursing has a lot of specialties that involve technology, anesthesia, critical care, so you have a wide variety of interests that you can get involved in.
Our guest speakers,
The professor credits the hard work of the faculty and staff for helping to make the program a success. With graduation right around the corner, graphic communication students at PSU are showcasing the projects they have been working on all semester. Everything from photo and video to print media being showcased. Now, one student even showing a 3D printed lamp of his own design. Yesterday's showcase serves as the student's capstone project before graduation.
Just the level of education here is like no other, and then what they specifically teach you here at the Tech Center is you can't find it around anywhere else but Pittsburgh. So I wanted to come back and strengthen my skills and just be better prepared for the workforce.
Yesterday's event was open to the public, who was able to offer feedback to the students. Well, music lovers make their way to the Bicknell Center in Pittsburgh to celebrate some elite area musicians. The annual 4-State Honor Band Festival kicked off yesterday. KOAM's chief photojournalist Ty Parks takes us inside the showcase.
This is one of our longest running festivals here, along with the Jazz Fest. This is our 41st year. It was I think 1974 was our first one. So a couple reasons why we have this festival and why it's so important. The first one is this is just a great end of the year thing. So like at this point, a lot of the students have had their last contests, they've had their last concert, and this is an opportunity for them to like make music in a non-pressure environment. So like they're not getting judged or rated. They're here just for the music, and that's one of my favorite parts of this event. The other thing is we bring bands together from almost 40 schools from around the 4-state area, and a lot of them, like we arrange some very small schools. They might have like 17 people in their band to pretty big schools, but in this event they all come together and work together for one day and make music. So like if you imagine if there's someone in like a small school band, they get to play with a 100-piece band with some like world-class conductors on like some music that's harder than anything they would ever normally get to play. So like this is a chance for them to really like kind of stretch their legs and like challenge themselves in a way that they normally can't. So it's a fun kind of a end of the year event, but it's also a nice challenge for some of these talented students.
It's something I enjoy doing, and it kind of just wakes me up. Getting to meet new people and playing with people that I haven't ever really played with before.
So music education is vital to creating a creative, independent, hardworking society. These students most of them are not going to go on in music after high school. A lot of them are going to go out into other professions, but they're going to take what they've learned about working together, about perseverance, and about dedication, and they're going to take that with them for the rest of their lives.
Well, yesterday's festival ended with a concert for family, friends, and the public yesterday evening. This marks the 41st year for the event. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump has announced a new trade deal with the United Kingdom. We'll take a look at how this will benefit both countries. Plus, Igloo is recalling 130,000 coolers due to a safety issue. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In today's Consumer Watch, President Donald Trump announced a trade deal with the United Kingdom that both sides say will boost trade between the two countries and create jobs. The final details of the agreement are still being hammered out, but the president is calling it a breakthrough deal, though his 10% flat reciprocal tariff stays in place on Britain along with all U.S. trade partners. President Trump says more trade deals with other countries are in the works. Well, Igloo is recalling an additional 130,000 flip and tow rolling coolers in North America. According to a post by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the handle can pinch users' fingers, leading to possible crushing and amputation injuries. The company has already recalled over 1 million coolers this year, with reports of over 70 injuries. Consumers can contact the company for a free replacement handle. And millions of Americans are expected to spend over $34 billion celebrating Mom this weekend. And that's according to a survey from the National Retail Federation. According to their survey, the most popular Mother's Day gifts this year are flowers, greeting cards, and restaurant meals or other special outings. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh. Again, looking good, but we are getting reports of patchy, dense fog across the area. We'll have another complete look at your forecast when we come back.
U.S. agriculture industry leaders are hopeful about a new trade agreement between the U.S. and the U.K. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Michelle Rook with today's Ag Day Minute. More U.S. beef and ethanol could soon be shipped to the U.K. Those items specifically mentioned by the Trump administration as part of a trade agreement reached with the U.K. The White House says the U.K. deal will create a $5 billion opportunity for new exports for U.S. farmers, ranchers, and producers, including more than $700 million in ethanol exports and $250 million in other ag products, including beef. In exchange, the U.S. has agreed to cut tariffs on U.K. auto, steel, and aluminum. It's been a long-running joke that there are more sheep in New Zealand than there are people, but a new report says humans are catching up. New government statistics show the country has a population of 23.6 million sheep compared to 5.3 million people. That means there are about 4.5 sheep for every New Zealander, but that's down from 22 sheep per person in 1982. Experts say years of falling wool prices have led to changes. And how do you welcome a new business to the area? Why not with a good old-fashioned cattle drive that turns into a parade? Mendocino Farms, a fast casual restaurant, recently celebrated the grand opening of its first Colorado location with a Longhorn parade through Denver's Cherry Creek neighborhood. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates at agweb.com.
Now let's head over to Chris for a full look at your forecast.
And we're going to start with a look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. Our camera at 4th and Broadway. Things are looking good, but again, the fog tracker is showing where we're getting some patchy, dense fog out there, which we will show you here in just a moment. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline just looks like some light fog from this perspective, which is good, but the fog tracker painting a bit of a darker picture, especially now back into parts of Ottawa and Delaware counties, Miami and Grove both reporting zero visibility. So we're talking I-44, 69, US 60. You've got to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. You've got to really slow down and watch out. And also bear in mind that some of this is probably that patchy fog situation where you might be on 69 or 60 and it's clear for a minute and then all of a sudden it's not. So be prepared to adjust your speed, your driving, make sure you've got time to get where you're going this morning because that's not the only area. Now Joplin's visibility at the airport has improved, but this is still continuing up I-44 stretching back toward Mount Vernon. There's some light fog outside of this zone as well, but the densest right through here along the I-44 corridor. So again, slow down, low beams, not your high beams out there this morning. Now once the fog clears, we're looking pretty good to start the morning. Heading into the afternoon, we'll start to have partly cloudy skies. The future track for us over the next couple of days is honestly pretty bland, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We need to dry out a bit. We need a little more sunshine. It'd be nice if it warmed up a bit, and that's what's going to happen as we head into the weekend is we're going to get a little more sunshine. We're going to get a little bit warmer as well. Saturday looking fantastic. We go Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday, same thing. Partly cloudy skies out there by the afternoon. Otherwise, not bad. Warm temperatures. You know, I do, again, enjoy a good rummage sale, and we're going to have a great weekend to do that. All right, 7th and Rangeline, our camera there. Again, you can see we're not seeing the fog at this point here, but it does seem to be a lot more dense along 171 and on the north side of the city through Webb City, Carl Junction, Airport Drive. All right, near 60 by 8 o'clock this morning. Clear skies initially, near 70 by 11. And as we head into the afternoon, again, partly cloudy skies set in. Our temperatures leveling out right around the low to mid 70s for our highs. Northeast winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20. Heading through the evening, partly cloudy skies out there. We're falling back into the low 60s by 10. Another chilly night as we go back into the upper 40s and a light north breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. And as we head into next week, we have a couple of different rounds of thunderstorm chances. The first coming by Monday afternoon and evening. Now, again, remember, long-range future track here. It's painting the area in which rain could be. It is not saying there's going to be rain across most of the state of Missouri Monday, but in these areas, we could get those scattered showers and storms. Not expecting too much at this point from Monday. And then we get Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, we start warming up. You see those 80-degree readings showing up on here, but otherwise we are dry, just much warmer. It won't be until we head into Friday afternoon and evening we'll get another round of showers and storms that could stick with at least some of us through Saturday and then again returning into Sunday. So again, nothing screaming severe with this activity, but a strong storm or two does appear possible as we head toward the end of next week and into the weekend. So it's something we certainly want to keep an eye on. Now, unfortunately, going beyond the future track range at this point into Monday of next week and the following week, after next week, we do have slightly better chances for strong to severe thunderstorms. That's a couple of weeks out, but it is something that is beginning to be a little more consistent showing up down the road. But at least between here and there, not a lot to worry about. All right, 70s all the way through at least Monday. Then take a look. We start climbing in the low, mid, maybe even some upper 80s. As we head into next week, we start seeing those thunderstorm chances increase. Now, despite the chances increasing, as you can see, not having a significant impact, in fact, having no impact on our temperatures, as we stay very warm next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to toss it over now to Elise with sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, today in sports, yesterday was the quarterfinal round of the 2025 MIAA baseball tournament. For Pittsburgh State, this is the postseason debut. Missouri Southern, on the other hand, had to play in the opening round Wednesday, a game they won 7-3. Missouri Southern baseball hoping for a big upset, taking on the #1 team in the conference and #3 in the country. Central Missouri Lions already up 3-0 in the top of the second. As Isai Darnell blasts this pitch off the wall and left, he slides in safely with a double and would score later in the inning. It's 4-0 in the top of the third, and Nate Miskowski, keeps the line moving. He knocks a single back up the middle later in the frame. Bases loaded for Blake Jones. He flies out to center, but that's plenty deep to score the run. It's 5-0 Lions. Bottom of the third, the Mules start to wake up. MIAA Player of the Year Jacob Steele sends one into shallow center. A run will score. It's now 5-0 Lions. With the bases loaded and one out, Southern turns to Owen Schneider out of the bullpen. He strikes out the first man, then strikes out another. 2 huge outs, and the Lions escape the jam, still in front 5-1. From there on, it turns into the Owen Schneider show. In the 5th inning, the Southpaw picks up 2 more swinging strikeouts. Now to the bottom of the 9th, the Southern leads 7-2. Schneider trying to slam the door on UCM, and he gets the first man to go down looking. Then with 2 outs, Schneider again strikeout 3 looking. He finishes with 8 strikeouts, allowing just 1 hit and 1 run through 6 2/3. Missouri Southern upsets number 3 team in the country. Lions advance to the MIAA tournament semifinals. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, the Gorillas take on Washburn in the MIAA tournament quarterfinals. In the third, Washburn has 2 men on, 2 outs, but Caden Williams makes the jumping catch to save a run. In the 5th, Washburn's Cooper Carlgren still throwing a perfect game until Dagan Brewer knocks one to center for a single, but Gorillas can't capitalize. We're still scoreless after 5. In the 6th, Nixon Brannon rockets one to right. Now it's bobbled, but then caught by Darian Duhan. With 2 counts, Jake Skaggs sends it over the second baseman's head to right. But again, PSU can't get him home. Both teams still looking for their first run. In the 7th, Pitt State has a runner on third, 2 outs. Hayden Dyer grounds it to short. He hustles to first, and the throw is wide. The Gorillas score the game's first run on an error, but the Ichabods respond next inning. They tie it up. Then with a man on second, Cash Day grounds is up the middle. The ball hits second base. A run will score, and Washburn takes the 2-1 lead. And the Ichabods shock the 2-seed Gorillas 2-1, ending PSU's hopes of an MIAA championship. While their baseball teams are anticipating in the MIAA tournament, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State softball each play the first game at their respective NCAA regional, which is double elimination until only one of 4 teams remain. Missouri Southern loses a heartbreaker. The Lions fall to Augustana 2-1 in extra innings. Andrea Kane hits a walk-off double in the bottom of the 10th inning for the Vikings. The Lions get held to just 4 hits a team for the entire game. 2 of those belong to Kylie Jacks. Well, Pittsburgh State softball loses a tight one as well. The Gorillas fall to Rogers State 2-1. This was tied until the 5th inning when Kaylee Lyon hit a go-ahead single for the Hillcats. That proves to be the game winner. The Gorillas and Lions are both down to their last life. And that's a look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, critically endangered red wolf pups have been born at Zoo Knoxville in Tennessee. The pups were born on April 22nd to parents Buckeye and Cirilla. The zoo says the pups represent a significant addition to a species. Zoo officials say red wolves are a uniquely American species, once native to the southeastern United States. Now, red wolves were declared extinct in the wild in the 80s due to habitat loss and hunting, but were reintroduced in small numbers in North Carolina. Now, despite decades of conservation efforts, red wolves remain critically endangered, facing ongoing threats and confusion with coyotes in the wild. And a Metallica concert at Virginia Tech rocked so hard Wednesday it registered as a small earthquake. The vibration of Hokie fans jumping up and down, cheering to the opening chords of Enter Sandman, picking up on seismic readings. The Virginia Tech seismological, observatory recording grounds tremors generated by the 60,000 strong crowd's collective energy, registering as a minor seismic activity dubbed the Metallica quake online. The event posed no danger and was too minor to register on the Richter scale or be assigned a rating.
I just saw that on Facebook. Actually, a meteorologist out east posted about you gonna be okay?
That's why I couldn't read. I'm joking.
Well, you haven't had any Cheez-Its, have you?
No.
Those can be dangerous in the morning, I'm telling you. But it was still, that's still pretty cool, though. You talk about rocking out, that's rocking out. And our forecast heading into the weekend should have you rocking out through today. Upper 50s by 8 o'clock this morning. Fog should start to clear. Sunny skies initially, near 70 by 11. As we head into the afternoon, low to mid 70s will start to go partly cloudy. Northeast winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20. Partly cloudy through the evening and overnight. Another chilly one as we fall back down into the upper 40s out there. Going into the weekend, again, looks fantastic. Partly cloudy, low to mid 70s. Got some storm chances next week we want to keep an eye on, and very warm temperatures climbing into the 80s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.